Thank you for tuning into AskJay. I'm Jay Adelson, CEO and chairman of a few different companies out there, and I thought that I would share with you some of the secrets that otherwise you'd never learn in business school. I'm Jay Adelson, and I'm the founder and chairman of Revision 3. I've founded a number of companies. I've been hired as a CEO, and I've even been fired as one. For example, Equinix is a company I took public in 2000 and now has a market cap of over $4 billion. In 2008, I was incredibly honored to have been selected as one of Time Magazine's most influential people in the world. My goal is to pass on some of this knowledge to you, the budding entrepreneurs, and hopefully leave you with some words of wisdom. This episode of Ask Jay is brought to you by GoDaddy. Today's question comes from Jessica in Des Moines, Iowa, who writes, "How much money should I raise for my company?" Well, Jessica, this is a great question, and I'll tell you, of course the answer is it depends on what kind of business it is. The general rule of thumb should be raise as little as possible at the beginning. When you're in this early phase and you're prototyping, you really don't want to overdo it because at the beginning, your company is an idea. It's not worth a lot. So if you can get to some kind of prototype first before you raise larger amounts of money, you'll give away less of your company. A great example of this was Digg, where when we first built out Digg, it literally cost less than a couple $1,000s to create the initial prototype. So if we had raised a ton of money back then, we would have had to give away like half the company for what really only cost us a couple $1,000s. And so later on, the company grew, and then raising money, you give away a much smaller piece. So my advice is as little as possible at the beginning, and then wait till later to raise the bigger numbers. In a minute, I'll give you some tips on just how much money to raise. But before we get there, I just wanted to thank our sponsor. Get reliable and secure web hosting without the long-term contract with GoDaddy. Hosting plans are bigger and better than ever with 99.99% uptime, free 24/7 support, and no annual commitment. And for those of you who are on the go, you can download GoDaddy's free iPhone, Android, or BlackBerry app to order right from your phone or manage your current domains. Make sure to use the code AskJay2 for $5 off any order of $30 or more. So today's homework assignment, you're trying to figure out how much you want to raise. Sit down for a moment and figure out what that prototype's going to look like. For example, if it's a website, is it very design focused? Is it something more like on the back end? Figure out what it's going to cost to contract that. So for example, if you need to create some initial designs, that might cost you $5,000 to $15,000. If you need to have somebody set up a server instance, Amazon.com has a certain price, and you can figure out and map out what those cost. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be an Excel spreadsheet. Just do it on the back of a napkin. Figure out what that number is, and remember to think of it over time, meaning this is what it's probably going to cost me per month, and it's going to take me this long to get to my prototype. Come up with that number in the back of your head and figure out whether or not you can afford it out of pocket, or if you have to go raise $10,000, $50,000 in order to achieve your goal. That's it for today's show. Remember to send us your questions to AskJay@revision3.com. And don't be afraid to put the wackiest questions, because after all, you can imagine the crazy, wacky questions that I've gotten over the years, and nothing can surprise me at this point. So until next time, we'll see you later.